In this chapter, we will cover the outdoor site survey tool. Some of them are common with the indoor site survey tools, but you will see some different tools here in this particular section of site survey. One is the topographic map. Now this is similar to the indoor blueprints. Now you cannot get the indoor blueprints for outdoor survey, of course, you don't need it. So you will go ahead and ask for the topographic map. Usually the Google Earth markups can be a good substitute. Google Earth markups can be a good substitute, so look for that. The second thing is the link analysis software. The link analysis software. Okay, now link analysis software is so basically for point-to-point link analysis. This software can be used with the topographic maps to generate the bridge link profile, right? So it is basically to create a bridge link profile, okay, which tells you about the Fresnel zone, about the EIRP, and used for point-to-point links, right? This is another essential tool if you're doing an outdoor survey, a must-have tool with you. Yes, you also need a calculator, because when you do outdoor survey, there can be multiple calculations involved, right? Like you might want to calculate the free space path loss. You might want to calculate the Fresnel zone. There are formulas to that. You might want to also calculate something around the fade margin. Now we discussed all these things in the wireless fundamental course, so I request you to go and watch that as well. This will give you an idea as to what Fresnel zone is, what fade margin is, what free space path loss is. The next is you also need to know what is the maximum tree growth data, right? Because you are doing an outdoor survey, you are trying to establish a point-to-point link between two buildings. So you need to interact with the local authorities, local government, and it's possible that you can get this data from there. So a tree which is not fully grown can expect to grow taller, right? And probably a chainsaw is not always an answer. You might want to design your network in a way where you already take into account the maximum tree growth height. This data can be available using the with the local agricultural government. This is something which they should know and they would know. You just need to make sure you do your homework right and interact with them and get that data. So very essential, because if you're trying to establish a point-to-point link between the two buildings, this is very essential. And similar to the indoor, the binoculars is a must-have. Because this kind of outdoor survey where we need to do a visual line of sight, we need to check using the binoculars. So visual line of sight can be checked with the binoculars, right? So this kind of gets very important. And also so guys, just again, visual line of sight is not the only thing that is important. You also have to make sure the RF line of sight is clear, that is the Fresnel zone. That's a different thing, but for visual line of sight, yes, binoculars also become very important. The next thing is again is common to the indoor one, that is a walkie-talkie. Now the outdoor surveys or the point-to-point links or cell phones, of course. Let me just correct that. In the outdoor survey, it's kind of like, the link can go up to 2 miles, 3 miles, right? So you cannot shout up to a distance of 2 miles. So you've got to have walkie-talkie to communicate with the other member of the team. So when doing an outdoor survey, you at least need a couple of members of the same team to make life easy. So yeah, if you want to communicate with the other person, a walkie-talkie or a cell phone is a must to have, right? And then you also need something called a inclinometer. Inclinometer is used to measure the height of the obstruction, okay, to check the height of the obstruction. So during a point-to-point link, yes, you can have obstruction like trees, buildings, To check the height, you need this particular device to check the height of that obstruction. So a must needed. GPS is another thing that you need. So GPS will help you record the latitude and the longitude of the site and the obstruction, right? So helps you with latitude and longitude of site and of obstruction. So I'll just correct that here. Of site and obstruction. Okay, so the next thing is again common to the indoor. We need a digital camera for obvious purpose. You need to make sure you take photographs of whatever thing is necessary, of mounting cables, mounting locations, the cable path, the grounding locations, and the indoor mounting locations. So all those things you can actually use a digital camera for and record that in a photograph, so that when you do go for a final deployment, this thing really helps you out. And yeah, even for an outdoor, you need a spectrum analyzer, right? You need a spectrum analyzer. So to check the RF sources of interference, always helpful to do a spectrum analysis of that area as well. So yeah, this is exactly what you need for indoor and outdoor. So guys, I would highly request and recommend that before you go ahead and do a site survey, you have these things ready with you, because if you if you don't have these things ready, then chances are that the data that you collect may not be as accurate as you would like it to be. So spend some time before the site survey, get these things ready and understand the use case of all these,